Hello, hello. It's been a long time. So, the weather is absolutely spot on. At 12 degrees today, sun shining, dry roads, and I just had to get out on the bike. Need a bit of headspace. That's the great thing about the bike. Gives you plenty of headspace. Because one job when riding the bike is to ride the bike. So you're watching out for everything else. You're watching out for cars, you're watching out for traffic behind you, you're watching out for pedestrians, road obstructions, everything else. So to me it's a great way to clear the head. You're not thinking about work, you're not thinking about anything but riding the bike. And occasionally your mind can flitter a little and you end up doing stuff like this. Talking to yourself. No, vlogging. Which, you know, is kind of talking to yourself. Just won't admit that in public. But on YouTube, yeah. So, anyway. Wow. April 2021. Who'd have thought it? Year, just over a year now, since this pandemic floated around the world, killed hundreds of thousands, made lots of others sick, some long-term issues with it. Yeah. Just as a vaccine now, and it's being rolled out slowly but surely. And there's a number of vaccines and a number of potential issues with vaccines. Blood clots seem to be one of the big concerns with the AstraZeneca one. But yeah, it's all about choice, consent, doing things for others. So, me being in the no underlying health conditions, healthy category, I don't fall into the over 65s. Not for another good few years at least. 15 years, yeah, over 15 years before I hit that group, thankfully. So, not one of the priority lists to get vaccinated. So, you're probably talking July or August this year before I get vaccinated. And I can live with that. You know, we've adapted to conditions, primarily working from home. I've been to the office a few times. We used to have an office of 42-ish people. And now, on a busy day, there's 5 in the office. As you can imagine, there is plenty of room for everyone to spread out and do their own thing. In some ways I miss the office, yes, definitely. In other ways I don't. I think in general I am as productive, if not more productive, working from home. Less distractions. And I can concentrate on what I need to concentrate on most of the time. I still get sidetracked and ended up working on 4 or 5 different things at the same time, and that's the nature of my role, supporting the others in the company and getting stuff done and developing stuff, new practices and procedures and stuff. But anyway, yeah, it's working from home over a year now. And I can't see myself going back to the office full time. I can see myself going back part time. So maybe 1-2 days a week I'll go back to the office. And the rest of the time I'll just work from home. That's my desire. Obviously, company agreement is required for that. I don't think I'll have an issue with it. I get on very, very well with my boss. Thankfully, I think we work well together. You know, he gives me jobs and tasks to do, and sometimes I do them and sometimes I don't. And it's a list of priorities. His priorities are not always my priorities. Mostly because he's dealing with big picture stuff most of the time. And I'm dealing with everything from big picture to absolute fine details and projects and stuff. So it's good. You know, there are times when I have been very blunt with him and said, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not looking at that. That's not worth my while. It's not worth my effort. And we had a discussion the other day. He sent an email to one of the guys that reports to me and asked him to do a body of work. And the lad came to me and said, yeah, look, I'm doing this, I'm having a bit of an issue. And I looked at what the requirement was and I said, no, that's not your priority. What I gave you the other day is your priority at the moment. That's very much a secondary task. When you get my stuff done, you can look at that. He said, oh, no, but he came from. And I went, yeah, you don't answer to him, you answer to me. He may be the CEO, he may be the boss, but he's not the boss. As far as you're concerned, I'm your boss. And I went to the boss then, and my weekly meeting, and I said, by the way, you assigned some work. Yeah, he doesn't report to you, he reports to me. And I report to you. And if you have a body of work that needs done, you need to come to me, and I'll assign it to whoever is appropriate to be assigned for that task. And he goes, yeah, I just needed that done. And yeah, well, he had work to do. I gave him the work. You put it in. So he goes, all right, yeah, I know, we should have gone through you. I said, yeah, it's not the first time we've had this conversation. He goes, no, it's not, but, you know, I'm the boss. Yeah, but you're not. So we came to an understanding. And, you know, this happens once every 6 months or so, where he'll send an email to someone and say, look, I need this done. And they automatically assume because he wants it, it's priority. And it's not always priority. But in general, I think the company as a whole has done very well over the last year in the circumstances, working from home, getting everything up and running and working properly. Had very, very few technical issues with people working from home, and most of the problems are due to people either not being connected to the VPN for our office, or something locally on their machine. It's not a system-wide problem. So I'm doing my job well, I think. Hopefully. But yeah, it's been a year of this. So we've just changed from lockdown level 5 to level 4, which means under level 5 you were required to stay within 5 kilometers of home for exercise. Essential journeys are permitted, such as grocery shopping, medical services, food, that kind of stuff. Of course. And now level 4, it's 20 kilometers, so you have a much greater range of things to get out and do. And today, being the glorious day that it is, I'm making the most of it. I will be going slightly outside my 20-kilometre range. Not much though. And the 5-kilometre restrictions, I was out, you know, a few times. Decent few times. Yeah, there's only so many laps of a 5-kilometre circuit you can do. So I ventured slightly further afield, but you know, if you stay on the back roads, stay out of the way. If you're on your bike, you're not interacting with anyone, so you're not at risk at contaminating others or contracting the virus. And you know, it's all about being smart. Making the most of the fresh air, getting out and about, doing a few bits and pieces, and then home. But it is nice to get out and about. So other than that, I really haven't been doing anything on the bike, or anything with the bike. I got little mirror extenders. So these little Yokomi bobs here just give an extra little reach so that the mirror can see round me better. Not saying that I'm fat, but I'm fat. And I was always catching more of my elbow than I really should in the mirrors. Whereas now I'm only catching a glimpse of my elbows, and I'm certainly seeing the vehicles behind me, which is what I want. Through traffic a lot easier than cars. Yeah, so other than that, I have been looking at things to buy. One thing I've been looking at lately is an air vest. You know, do I need it? Probably not. Does it give you added safety? Yeah, I'd say it certainly does. They're expensive. They're not cheap. Would it be worth it in an accident? Probably would. You know, it's not always about how you ride, it's about the others on the road. You know, as they always say, right, as if everyone's out to kill you, because they probably are. So, yeah, you ride defensively. And it just takes someone coming out of an alleyway or a roadway or a side road to take you off your bike and potentially kill you. This week, there have been a number of bikers lost to road traffic accidents, which is a terrible shame. And it's tough. In our club, we lost one of our brothers this week, not through a biking accident, unfortunately through cancer. Yeah, it's tough, and with the restrictions, attending funerals and stuff, it's not easy. That's why you gotta make the most of life. Make the most of the good weather. Get out and about, get a bit of fresh air. There are tough times. And there are good especially with lockdowns. It's mental health. Keeping your headspace, keeping your head together. And that's the tough part. Yeah, we all struggle. Some much more than others. There have been days when it's really got to me. There are other days when you just have a damn good day and things work and life is positive. But you really do need to take control of those bad days and get through them. And whether that means talking to people, connecting with people. Sure, is isolation, feeling isolated. I think one of the things that they're saying now, after people working from home or being at home for such a long time, a year in psychological terms can be a very long time. So after people being so isolated, they may not want to return to a work office environment or mass gatherings, crowds. So yeah, it's a weird world. And I wonder how they survived it back in 1918, 1919, the last pandemic, which is estimated to have killed over 50 million. You know, how did they manage? At least now we have a lot more communication methods. You know, back in 1918, telephone would have been very rare. Oh, excuse me. Telephone would have been very rare. Whereas now we all have mobile phones, computers, you know, you can video call people, you know, FaceTime, WhatsApp video calls, Zoom, and all the others. So we have the means of communication now that wasn't around back then. So yeah, it's weird. How did they cope? How do we cope? We cope very well, I think, in general. But like everything else, there are tough times and we struggle in different ways. So, yeah, I try to stay positive. I try to focus on the good things. Try to focus on the facts and the science rather than, you know, mind-controlled vaccines with nanotechnology or implants, and you really have to wonder about some of the conspiracy theories. So yeah, it's a strange world. It really is. So I try and stay positive, try and stay focused, try to get away from news and media as much as I can. I would generally only watch the news on television. Once a week. I listen to the news on the radio in the morning, probably twice a week, and that's just a 5-minute snapshot of what's going on in the world. And then social media gives you views on everything else of what's happening in the world. So, you try and stay positive, you try and stay focused. Don't let them get you down. So, I'm out enjoying the good weather. The sun is shining, the roads are dry. Get out and about, do things, people, and I hope everyone's keeping well. And put yourselves out there. Take care of yourselves, and talk to you soon.